And it will practice to be very, very observant, especially it will practice you to cut this bullshit that we have going, that is going on in our minds when we start worrying about outcomes that are, or events that are never going to happen. Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something that is a little bit deeper than usual, especially if you're someone that struggles with tilt, you feel anxious, lack of sleep, or you struggle with falling asleep in the first place, lack of motivation, anger problems, whatever it is that might hinder you from achieving your desired outcomes. This video is going to be very, very valuable for you. And I try to explain it in a more practical way, and of course I have to also talk a little bit about some more dry facts or theoretical concepts, but I think it's a necessity because it's also the first step in order to change something is to understand what's going on. But also, and this is especially in these days where we have access to so many information, books, courses, YouTube videos, and everyone explains so well why we aren't motivated and why we should be motivated and what you can do, but then nothing really changes, nothing is really permanent. And I want to elaborate on what are the forces that are holding us back, and what happens inside, what really happens, and what we can do. I'm not going to go on a rant here for 30 minutes and throw a lot of scientific facts on you and try to appear very wise and knowledgeable. No, I really want to keep it simple. And as I said, before we start, we need to understand what is actually going on in our minds and what happens with our thoughts, and what is the process that actually makes us feel in a certain way. Let's say you think about something. You have a thought or a memory, and in your brain, a reaction starts, right? And usually this reaction is a biochemical reaction, which leads the brain to releasing a certain chemical signal. This is literally how an immaterial thought turns into matter. And the way you can see it is it as some sort of chemical transmitter. And based on these signals, they make you and your body feel the way you were just thinking, right? And this is, of course, something that happens within nanoseconds. So there is not really the opportunity for you to jump in between and realize, oh, that's going on. This goes so quick. And at some point, you're aware of how you feel. And you start realizing, oh, I'm angry. And you keep generating more thoughts depending on how you feel. And this amplifies the process of releasing more chemicals from your brain to make you feel the way you just have been thinking. That's why it is sometimes so hard to stop the process of tilting, because it gets worse and harder and you get deeper into the tilt. We start producing thoughts of anger and frustration. And once we start feeling the same way, we keep producing more of the same thoughts. And basically, a vicious cycle happens. And it's incredibly tough for you to stop this process. And when we are in stress, the body uses all the energy to deal with the stress. It uses all the energy to deal with the threat. You might have heard it, the so-called fight or flight mode. Right? So the body has no energy to grow, to learn, to repair, to provide you with the energy you need to have a productive day. Or with the energy you need to remain focused in a high pressure situation, which very often happens in poker. Or to provide you with the energy to lift yourself up when you have a bad day or you don't have the motivation, and then you skip your workout, you skip the study session. And you have to understand that our bodies are built to deal with short-term stress. However, if the stress doesn't end and you keep carrying the stress, you're essentially compromising your immune system. You drain your body, You're making your body incapable of providing you with the energy you need, with whatever you're trying to accomplish. And since our brains are masters of solving problems, it is very easy for us to make very small problems, or let's say unlikely catastrophes, very, very real. And we start imagining the worst case scenarios, and we're essentially activating our fight or flight mode. And unfortunately, our bodies cannot distinguish between what is made up and what is real. And since both events produce the same chemical responses, remember at the beginning when we were talking about the chemicals, we start triggering similar feelings in our bodies. When you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is to place your attention on something outside, especially problems, any kind of outside problems, your bank account, you're checking social media, you're checking news, you essentially waste your energy, you lose energy, and you're not going to have the energy to be productive, to enjoy your relationships, to perform to the best of your ability, and not having the focus and concentration in high pressure situations. You kind of get through the day, but you're not really achieving the results you're looking for. And remember, we're built to handle short-term stress. We're built to fight the tiger, so to speak, to run away, and then we return back to inner peace. We return back to calmness, and we store the energy for other tasks and projects, and of course also for our relationships, to be really there, to be present. And I'm not saying you should never worry or never have negative thoughts or try to suppress it at all costs, but not to a magnitude as many people are experiencing it right now. People are actually having good lives, belonging to the wealthier part of the world, yet they feel miserable, they're constantly worrying on a daily basis, feeling unhappy, lacking motivation, not really having a purpose, and complaining about everything, not knowing where to go, what to do, and how to do it. And the quickest way to recapture your energy, your drive, your focus, and discipline, your calm, your peace, is through meditation. Is through letting go of constantly checking your phone and social media. Let the body do its thing. It knows what to do. Our subconscious mind is so strong. Your subconscious mind knows what to do. I understand it is incredibly tough to believe, since it's something that is not measurable. Listen, guys, and it's 2020, and so many successful people share their routines, and it's on YouTube, and it's proven, it's scientifically proven, and whatever it is for you. But you have to start incorporating something that is something either like meditation or something similar. And you have to understand that your brain works like an engine, and an engine also needs some rest, and it needs breaks. Give it the break so it can focus on restoring the energy you need, repairing your body, manifesting what you have learned. That's very important. If you constantly occupy your mind with something, you're not going to have the space and the energy to manifest what you learned. And you're going to be so much calmer, focused, energized, and simply perform to the best of your abilities. Listen, and why is it so important that we want to incorporate meditation into our daily routines? Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, I told you that we have this process of a thought occurs, and this thought releases certain chemicals into your body that make you feel in a certain way. This process is very hard to stop. We're human beings. We have emotions. You cannot stop being angry. If there's something that makes you angry, it's going to be hard to stop. And what most people don't understand, it's not trying to suppress your emotions, not trying to suppress your thoughts. It's about changing our relationship and it's about understanding what is going on to change the perspective. So whenever I tilt, whenever I feel anxious, I'm simply there. And I'm not trying to suppress it. I understand, all right now, I have some tilty thoughts. I think about this guy, why does he win the pot? He doesn't deserve it in the first place. But it's full presence. And when there's full presence, it's the enemy of the ego. When you're fully present, your ego has no chance. And especially for poker players, when you constantly occupy your mind with news, social media, whatever is going on in your mind, that's okay. I'm not saying never check social media. I'm not saying never watch news. But you have to find the time to also create space in your mind, which will allow you to enter the flow state. You will never able to enter the flow state when your mind is occupied with random chatter. It's not going to happen. And I understand that it's really hard to measure the process of meditation. But a good way to measure the process of meditation is when you do it for a while and then you stop. You will feel a difference. You will feel a little more stressed. You will feel a little more worried. You might feel a little more all over the place. But when then you start the meditation over again, you just simply feel more focused. You feel more energized. And especially in critical situations, such as in poker, when facing a situation that might occur tilt, you will be much more calm, relaxed. And after several months of meditation, you will realize, damn, I actually tilted way less. And that's where you can measure a tilt. Of course, we cannot put it in on scale and then we get an outcome. That's how it is. And the problem is, and this is probably something you have been taught since you have been growing up, is you always have to invest something. You have to buy something in order to make progress, right? You're not good enough, you're not beautiful enough, you're not smart enough. So buy this shit in order to get better. So meditation, or just giving your body and mind some rest and peace, and this sounds so simple, doesn't cost you anything. I mean, maybe a meditation chair like I have over there in the corner. You can barely see it actually. But it doesn't cost you anything. And since nobody can earn any money on that, because when someone asks me how to meditate, I say, yeah, just sit there, observe your breath for 10 minutes, and that's all you need to do. You don't need to pay for that. And that's why it's not necessarily being advertised in the mainstream. And now where athletes and entrepreneurs and just very successful people start sharing that, it gets more attention. And I'm still astonished how little poker players are actually meditating. And listen, it doesn't necessarily have to be meditation. You can also go for a walk and be very present. You can be very mindful when you cook. You can be very mindful when you drive a car. You can be very mindful when you brush your teeth. Just try to be there. And it will practice to be very, very observant. Especially it will practice you to cut this bullshit that we have going, that is going on in our minds when we start worrying about outcomes that are, or events that are never going to happen. And especially for poker players, of course, practicing this very process of recognizing what is going on and stopping the process of releasing more of the same thoughts as we have just been releasing. So listen, getting angry is fine, right? Because we can always deal and control a certain amount of angriness. That's okay. But the problem is that then to our body, we send the signals of, hey, produce more thoughts. We get more angry thoughts. The thoughts release the same signals and the same chemical signals. It's not just some magical stuff. No, that actually happens to our body. And then you feel more angry. At some point, it reaches a level where you cannot keep control of it. So you want to be able to put the awareness as early as in the process, so you can jump with your full awareness, with a full mindfulness, and being in charge and being in control. Sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it works out. And especially if you're someone that is a very angry person, and you're overly stressed and you're overly worried about something, this will help you because it will also reflect onto other areas in your life. you will have more space, more freedom when you fall asleep. Because whatever is going on in our minds, when we start giving it the freedom and the space, it will also ultimately fade away to a certain degree. But if you're occupied your entire day and then you go to bed, it will all come up. So that's why meditation is so hard, because actually what we're trying to do when we fall asleep, it is some kind of meditation, because now there's nothing else to do than our thoughts and us. And then it takes like an hour or half an hour until you fall asleep, because then the thoughts are getting less. But actually, if you do the meditation earlier, 20 to 30 minutes, it might be easier for you to fall asleep, because you're essentially doing the same what you have been doing earlier, maybe an hour or 5 hours earlier. And the meditation will help you to get more inner peace, more inner calmness, and sleep is so essential for restoring, for providing you with the energy you need for the next day. Keep that in mind, guys. Let me know what you do in order to bring more energy into your daily routines. And listen, this energy is essential for feeling motivated, for feeling great, to have a productive day. Listen, guys, sometimes I'm not this positive woo guy, always be positive, be happy. I try to explain you what is going on and why. And sometimes we simply have a shitty day, then take a day off, but attack the next day. We're human beings. Sometimes we have shitty emotions, and that's totally all right. But it should not deliver you an excuse to not work on that, to not grow as a person, and not be a leaf in the storm that is being pushed around and there's nothing you can do. That's just the way you are. That's bullshit. There's always something that you can do about it. So start doing it. And at the end of the day, it will make you more money in poker. Period. So try it out. Be more mindful. It will improve your life, your results significantly. Peace.